Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Welcome, 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 welcome back. For those of you guys who were here with us for Karen Reed, welcome back. Those of you guys who are new, welcome, welcome. Squirrel call, coo. Happy to see you guys again. So in honor of ABC's asking if she missed earlier, asking if she had missed earlier, actually. Any other Wendy clips? We'll just start it out strong with another Wendy clip here.
Yesterday I was taking a walk around 5. I met a new friend. We went to Tallahassee food trucks.
Wow.
Last night, hung out with her for hours.
Yeah.
Wendy made another new friend. Are you fucking kidding me? Why?
She also Googled. There was a shooting, you know? Both she and John.
Stop.
Why would they
I'm
Google?
going to die.
Why would that just come
I'm
up?
going. Sorry. Heather says, I met a new friend on a walk. Bitch, how old are you? Most excellent. And we'll do another one here. Whenever I talk about this theory that I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it because it makes no sense. We'll listen one more time. We'll put 2 speed. This is it. This is the whole thing right here. This is it.
I'm trying to tell her that this is a big deal. Like if we go to the police on the second extortion, they're going to catch the second extortion, and when they catch them, they're going to turn, and the second extortion is going to turn in the first extortion. And then when you catch the first extortion, the police are going to come talk to us. And then when we tell them what happened, you're going to be in a lot of danger. There's no way I can talk to the police. So by catching the second, it's going to turn in the first. And that's exactly what I say in there.
That's exactly what he says. Excellent. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the close-up of Lori's foot. So this is not long. This is the hearing from David. There's a couple of really interesting tidbits here. So let's jump right on in. They start out by talking about jury selection, scheduling. They move on to things like the witness list. Who's on first? What do you mean? Who's on first?
Daybell, CR 2021 001704.
Your Honor, for the record, this Trini on behalf of the state, and for the record, the next of kin and the victim in the 2022 matter are appearing virtually.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Hicks and Robert Abernathy as
Victim in the 2022 matter. That would be Brandon Boudreau.
advisory counsel for Ms. Daybell.
Go ahead and announce.
Lori Daybell.
All right. Thank you. My courtroom assistant said there's some issue with
Interesting. Right there, she didn't say Vallow Daybell. She said Daybell.
advisory counsel at the table.
Yeah, I apologize, Your Honor. I didn't think about the logistics, so I'll just let Ms. Daybell.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I could have my investigator up here at the table, because if I needed to ask him something, then I need him available.
Yeah, any side can designate an investigator to sit with them through the trial and through court proceedings.
So yes, I was saying they're going to talk about jury selection and scheduling, but then there's some interesting tidbits regarding like the witness list. And then also we're going to be hearing towards the end here some issues with Lori wanting to do like another extraction on, I think, a computer, and how that might impact her speedy trial. So
that you can have, if you can fit 3 chairs there, that's fine. Otherwise, advisory counsel could scoot her chair behind, whatever you think is logistically easier.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I just received word literally 2 minutes ago that we will be using Judge Kemp's courtroom, and we can use it for the entire first trial, which is in the South Court Tower, which will give us
that's amazing.
More space.
A little more shoulder. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the things that so her hair is different. If you guys noticed, she didn't do was she watching? Did she hear the comments about looking like, what was it? There were 2 things. One was like the troll doll. And then there was another character or something too with the hairdo that she had. What was it, you guys who were here? There was 2. There was the troll doll and something else. But she's got it. She's not doing it this time.
As needed. Have the parties, I had my staff drop off the proposed questionnaire on your table this morning. I know you just got it this morning. You may need some time to read through it. that's my proposed questionnaire. Obviously, there's maybe a lot more questions that either side would like to ask the potential jurors in follow-up. So this is not limiting what would be asked ultimately to the jurors. In addition to this, the questions in this questionnaire, when the potential jurors come in, I always go over the burden of proof. I go over credibility of witnesses in a little more detail, especially as it pertains to how people perceive officer testimony, and some other areas I'll highlight. So I intend on asking more than just what's in this questionnaire, but this questionnaire is intended to get through some of the bigger issues such as pretrial publicity or opinions people may have had or exposure to the case people may have had. And then it has the questions where we may lose additional jurors on the trial schedule, and then victims of crime, views about police officer, and then if they've been charged or a close family members have been charged with a criminal offense, and to explain that. Any comments from the state?
Judge, in terms of publicity, I think my concern would be that when the jurors come in here and start hearing about the case or hearing testimony about the case, they'll hear the names Tylee and JJ, which obviously were more, there was more publicity about those than about Charles Vallow.
Interesting that this is there's an overlap here with what we just heard at the end of the Karen Reed hearing, right? Or well, I guess earlier too, but like in terms of the panel, right? Part of the thing is what you don't want to do is ask questions to the jury panel, like as a large group, that where in the question, it gives information to the other jurors that they didn't have before. So it's interesting because there's an overlap here about, what questions do we ask and where do we ask them?
And so I think if we really want to ensure that the jury is unbiased and has had no pretrial publicity with regards to the defendant, we're going to have to question them as to their knowledge of her other convictions out of Idaho. That was something that was just incredibly all over the media.
I agree, but I think that may happen in individual voir dire. This initial questionnaire, if they recognize the name Vallow or Daybell and they've been exposed to something in the media about it, they should tell us about what they know about it and about whether they know about that other case and whether they know about anything that happened to it about it. So I anticipate losing a number of jurors just based on that. But I agree with you. Some may say they've been exposed to it, but it wouldn't affect their ability to be fair. And in individual voir dire, we can explore those options. I don't want to necessarily taint the whole pool by saying, hey, she's got these convictions in this other state.
And Your Honor, I don't propose we talk about the convictions, but we will hear the names JJ and Tylee in this trial. So that's my concern, is if we don't raise those names, whether to put them in the list as people that they may hear.
What I could do is on question 15, where it lists out my name, the court staff, I forgot I need to include your name, the attorney's names, the advisory council's names in there. I'll add those. But at the bottom where it says other potential witnesses, I could do a third or another category that says other people that may be referenced but are not going to testify and list those names. That's fine. Is there any in addition to those two?
That would be the only for that. I think the other issue is, of course, the defendant's supplemental 15.2 names.
When was that filed? I haven't seen it.
I filed actually 2 motions to preclude them all and emailed them to your court Sunday.
Okay, maybe that's in my folder. That's on my desk. Before we
filed that on the 12th of March.
Okay, before we get to that, let me ask the defendant. Other comments on the proposed questionnaire and the information that we're going to put in there?
I think it's
What's that?
pretty clear.
Okay, do you have any objection to listing Tylee and JJ because they will be mentioned?
No.
Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Let me ask the state, you have 21 witnesses listed. I need to look at the defense witnesses that were listed. And we're after jury selection. I recognize jury selection could take longer than the initial week that I've set forth, but from April 7th to May 15th, the current screening, that is 20 full days of trial and 2 half days. So essentially 21 days of trial. Do you really think we need to screen that far out? I know you're being overly cautious.
I think, especially given that I'm not positive we'll pick a jury in that first week, I think we should, Your Honor.
All right. Defense have any comment on how we're screened through May 15th?
I think it's plenty of time, Your Honor, myself.
We love you, Flash. Well, fun. flash stream trials on Discord.
All right, let's deal with a couple things. First, I've received the notice of compliance. That was when the defendant requested the Gilbert video. Is that apply to the second case or this case?
Your Honor, it's an incident that occurred in January. It's not really, it was disclosed because it is mentioned in the DR. The defense had filed a motion for the state to disclose that, and then had brought up again on the 11th that the state had not disclosed it, that there was some YouTube video of that. I have looked for said YouTube video. I have gone through the police report. I don't know what video she's discussing, but we're not aware of any video that hasn't been disclosed. So I'm just providing notice that disclosure is complete as to that police report that is peripherally relevant.
Peripherally relevant.
Any comment on that?
Yes, Your Honor. For clarity, is the state proposing that there is no video or that they don't have to give it to me because it's not attached to that deal?
So James was asking for a little more shoulder. Look, she's got it there. And she's still got her matching bra strap situation going on. I will say her hair looks a lot better when it's not in that troll hairdo.
Your number.
I think what she said was she's not aware of what video you referenced. So as far as her knowledge, she doesn't have it and doesn't know about it.
So I should go directly to Gilbert Police Department to get it?
Well, last time you were in court, you said your investigator or someone told you about it.
A mitigator.
A mitigator.
Showed it to me.
If they have that link, why don't they just send it to the state, and that may help the state determine if that's something they've already disclosed?
I will tell you why they won't, because that is my former team and they will not do anything to help my investigator, my paralegal. They won't give us any information that they found. They won't talk to us at all because apparently there was a conflict. So they will not help us. They will not send us anything. They will not email us anything. They will not answer anything that we ask them to. So that has been the response from my former defense team. That's where we are.
All right.
Oh my God.
Do you know, and maybe your advisory councils can speak to this, did they turn over a file to you or did you have to start from scratch?
Right?
No, from what I understand, all they turned over was the 22 terabyte hard drive, and that is it. They didn't turn on any notes, any work product, nothing that they had done to that
22 terabytes. Y'all hear that?
point. And they continue to stand by that today, even though a lot of that information I gave to them, they would not give it back to me.
James with another super chat, amazingly.
All right. I'm going to make an order and it'll be in the minute entry that they turn over a copy of their entire file, including any mitigation information that was gathered to the advisory council. To makes Hicks look like you want to say something.
I don't know. I think Miss Hicks is her. James, is this on purpose or is this like happening on accident with like your finger? Nice chairs in the jury box. So they'll be in a larger courtroom, he said earlier for the trial.
Think about this question.
Oh,
Can they say that?
hot mic.
Say that. Don't they have a public statement?
Whoa.
You have to ask the attorney.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, James. Thank you so much.
No, I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. So I'll do a more detailed order about they should have turned over a copy of their entire file to the advisory council when they
A different
withdrew.
person. Notice the court reporter is using a mouthy thing like they use in South Carolina. Different color, looks a little bit more updated than what they had in Murdoch. Speaking of which, this is a short hearing. It will redirect you guys automatically. Again, it seems like it worked this time into yet another live stream. I didn't have it set up initially because I wasn't quite sure how long we would go on the others, but because we're going to be done here pretty shortly, we're going to carry on with some more Murdoch shenanigans. Oh my God, that's crazy. Sounds not well advised. For the state of South Carolina? Wait, what? You're saying his wife's an attorney, like a prosecutor? What are you doing? What are y'all doing?
Disclosures that were filed.
Okay.
Read the defendant's disclosures that were filed March 6th and March 12th, as well as the state's motion to preclude. And well, let me start. Have you received any response from the defense, anyone from the defense team since you filed this on March 16th?
Your Honor, last night at 10:30 or so, defendant's investigator sent over a list of the addresses of the witnesses. I did speak with him
So we get some interesting information about the witnesses
this morning. I still am unclear if defense will be setting up those interviews or if they will be providing phone numbers to the state to set them up ourselves. As for the expert, again, last night at like 10:30 at night, defense investigator emailed the state and indicated that the defense expert would need to or wanted to obtain the physical laptops and cell phones that the police had impounded so that he could then review them, do his own Cellbrite or extractions.
You guys hearing that? At 10:30 last night, they heard that the defense expert wants to do extractions on multiple devices. Sounds like multiple laptops.
Would need to or wanted to obtain the physical laptops and cell phones that the police had impounded.
And cell phones.
So that he could then review them, do his own Cellbrite or extractions.
So what now? Like,
So obviously the expert hasn't even begun work, let alone
their jury selection starts on March 31st, I believe.
they've also requested all impounded items from law enforcement. I'm unclear if they're asking for ones that were impounded in Idaho as part of their investigation or just the ones here. The statements from the investigator appears to be all of them, which would mean the state would have to request Idaho to send those to the investigator.
Like what?
So again, given all of those.
Why is this just happening now? That's the question I have. It'd be a question for fucking Lori because like what?
Issues, I don't see how that it would be possible for the state to provide that to the expert prior to this trial beginning, let alone to get a report or an opinion prior to this trial beginning.
Yeah, if neither of them get continued.
All right, let's set aside Dworkin for the time being.
So back to that.
So well, let me ask the investigator. What's your name, sir?
Jeff.
Jeff what?
White.
Okay, Mr. White, are you going to be setting up interviews for the state to interview whatever potential witnesses the defendants noticed?
I'm trying to verify. Excuse me, sir.
So they should be going on at the same time if neither of them get continued.
Trying to verify the phone numbers to be correct.
They
I do
will
have
be
a few
going
of
on.
them, but some of them I'm trying to make sure that this is the correct numbers.
Okay.
I did the searches for them, and I have to apologize. I left yesterday, and for some odd reason, my email just did not go through. So,
Your Honor, my
Your email didn't go through. Anybody else find that a little bit concerning? Like that he hasn't figured out how to use email?
make sure that this is the correct numbers.
Okay.
I did the searches for them, and I have to apologize. I left yesterday, and for some odd reason, my email just did not go through.
What?
So,
Your Honor, my understanding is that the state has interviewed every
Like his email only works if he stays there and watches it. I don't understand.
single person on my witness list previously. That's where I got the people from the interviews that they had from the state previously. So I understand that they're allowed to do another interview of them, but they have interviews of every single person that is on my list, with the exception of one,
Here we go.
Which is who?
which is Nate Eaton.
Okay.
Oh boy. She wants to call Nate Eaton. Lori, if she hadn't lost her mind prior, this should be what? Should we be concerned? She wants to call Nate Eaton? What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck? And I will say, actually, it's just dawning on me. I think Nate did a reaction to this. I haven't seen it. I think he responded to this because, what? So if you guys want, we could actually watch that and I could push Murdoch back. But I mean, what is she even expecting? And I'm curious what he would say about it too.
When you say the state's done the interview, do you mean police or someone from the prosecutor's office?
In discovery, I have interviews with police on every single one of the witnesses that are on my list.
Okay.
So I know that they had their addresses. I know that
Classic Twiz with who's Nate Eaton. Classic Twiz. I should have been anticipating that question. Nate Eaton of East Idaho News, which is what we're watching this on, but it's behind the Swingwin. He is the first dude on this case. He's the reason this case became really well known. He we've actually watched other videos with him as it pertains to Lori just recently, because he interviewed Keith Morrison, and he's the one who was hounding Lori, showing up when she was brought back from Hawaii. He was there on the landing strip with the airplane when she gets brought off the plane. Where are the kids? Where are the kids? He's awesome. He's great. You heard the name before. Yeah. No, I'm surprised you didn't know him. I mean, he's a great reporter, or journalist rather, I guess, out of Idaho. He's trying to also kind of cover Kohberger too, but this case is his baby. He's been on it since day one. And we were actually talking about this again the other night, where once this trial is done, we might be seeing him spending more time on Kohberger because he's in Idaho. So
that we were trying to get the addresses to them in the quickest way possible. And where I am at the jail, the communication is very difficult for me to get a hold of my investigator, to get a hold of my paralegal. I'm 23 hours a day locked down. If I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have a phone. If I don't have battery, I don't have a phone. I don't have access to get to people. So I understand that.
Boise.
I understand the time constraints, and we're doing the best that we can of getting things answered, getting things put together.
So as a threshold question, your assertion is that all these people that you've listed in your notices have relevant information for trial?
Correct.
And do you know if the police have interviewed these people?
Your Honor, the
They may be
first
referenced.
listed person is a reporter. So I'm not really sure the relevance of a reporter.
He's the only one that hasn't been. So
Oh
that's
my
what I
God.
So, Your Honor, the point is to start with, one, these people, I'm not sure all of them actually have been interviewed. Those that have would have been interviewed 5 years ago. So whether or not their addresses are correct, unclear. It's not the state's responsibility for the defendant to do the defendant's work and find these people. I have an absolute right to do interviews just as the defendant does. So
Interesting.
in terms of the witnesses, I think that most of them, as best I can guess, would be character evidence, which would be improper under 405. So depending on what they say, then I need to file motions to preclude or motions in limine for any or all of these witnesses.
All right, so it's premature to address these today.
Hold on. I wanted to back. Hold on.
The state's gonna have to interview them and
Hold on. I wanted to back. Did anyone else find that part interesting?
For the defendant to do the defendant's work and find these people. I have an absolute right to do interviews just as the defendant does. So in terms,
I don't know that is going to be really well taken, because this is under normal circumstances. Yes. But this is a pro se defendant, right? And it's different, and you have to treat them with some kid gloves. Everyone knows that. Who's Kohberger? Idaho Flash, Idaho 4. You've been on some of those there for some of those live streams. I know you have, for documents, I think. Hi, P Fox, welcome. Yes, this is just from today, and I'm just setting it up here that we're gonna watch the Nate Eaton. So let me push back Murdoch a smidgen here, because we're gonna, since you guys said yes, let me just, I can handle that. So we'll just push that back a smidgen. Yeah, she's calling. Oh, you're joking. Oh, okay. It's hard to sometimes get this. Every now and again, there's people who don't know certain cases, and I was saying yesterday how, just people that I come into contact with randomly, like here in real life, everybody's heard of Murdoch, but there's so many people who've never heard of Kohberger. And then I'm like, wait, Idaho 4, thinking maybe that's what they would recognize. They're like, nope. And I'm like, 4 people stabbed, and they're like, nope. And it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a little less shoulder for sure. A little bit less shoulder. So, and ABC's answering the question of what I was saying. Yep, exactly. Right. The Commonwealth deserves fair trial. Very reminiscent. And I was very, I heard bits and pieces of this hearing, and that part really stuck out to me. I was like, interesting.
in terms of the witnesses, I think that most of them, as best I can guess, would be character evidence, which would be improper under 405. So depending on what they say, then I need to file motions to preclude or motions in limine for any or all of these witnesses.
all right, so it's premature to address these today. The state's gonna have to interview them and find out if, in their opinion, they have relevant information or not. And then if there's a dispute as to whether or not they'd be called, I'll have to deal with that as it comes up. But if they're unable to be located or interviewed, obviously they won't be called at trial. Mr. Dworkin, if you want him to do extractions, you're not ready for trial. So
Mr. Dworkin,
in order for him to do the work that he's requesting, getting copies of a laptop or a cell phone or whatever the case may be, that's going to take him time to extract and analyze and then prepare a report, months maybe.
I understand that, Your Honor, and I'm hoping he can do it in an expedited manner. I requested him from OPDS on January 14th. He got approved on March 7th
Well,
from OPDS.
you're the one pressing for your speedy trial, so you kind of have to make a decision on, we're set for trial. You want to go to trial or you want to?
Okay, this is important. This is crucial because this is about her speedy trial. So I want to make sure we can pay attention to that. So Northwest, welcome. I'm happy to see you again. I feel like it's been a while. And yeah, also agree with that. Not sure if they have any relevant information. Yeah, and I don't think they finished talking about how she's going to be shackled or whatnot, but that came up at the previous hearing. But yeah, that did come up, that the standby counsel is going to be doing the questioning. But it would be funny. I mean, I thought it's a funny visual. Like, this would be a funny visual, especially if she's got shackles on her feet and whatnot, right? Because the running would be difficult. And then what else was I going to say? So yes, again, welcome to anyone else who's just now getting here. I have no idea. Oh, I think Twiz asked, I don't know if this is to me or to somebody else, in which case. But if this is to me, and if it's about Lori's court docs, I have not pulled up. I mean, I would need to clone myself. I just started covering the hearings here recently because it's heading for trial. So, and I don't even know how easy they are to find, but I'm reading court docs for like so many cases. Yeah, it's just not been physically possible. So I've not been reading. I'm trying to think if I've read, maybe there was one document we looked at. Now I can't remember, but yeah, I'm not doing the full, all of the court docs like I do for other trials. In fact, I actually kind of forgot that this trial was quickly approaching until recently, which is when I was like, I think because I saw there was a hearing coming up, and that's when I was like, oh shit. And then we started covering it from there. So that was one of the other questions I was going to answer. So Flash saying she will stand at the podium. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, again, I don't think they ever finalized talking about how she's going to be shackled because, they're not going to want the jury to see, shackles on her if she's up there at the podium. Like if she remains seated and speaks from the table, then they can hide her, handcuffs or whatever type of shackle situation they got going on. Maybe it'll just be one of those stun belts and no shackles. Okay, thank you. You have to pay for the AZ court docs. And that makes sense. I feel like I looked into it at some point when she first came to Arizona because I was like intending for it. And the fact that I never, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So maybe, I don't know if Flash was asking maybe about different documents then, but that does make sense as to why my brain, I guess, checked that off the list, right? And then I didn't follow back up because it was not happening. So, that's true. They could use the headphones. But I mean, I've seen it before with other, I mean, she's going to be allowed to participate in the sidebars, obviously. So I would imagine the sidebars are going to work the way that they normally work, right? Where they play the white noise, or if they have to send the jury out, if it's going to be lengthy. But if she's already able to get up and go over to the podium, you know what I mean? Then clearly, she should be able to go to the bench, right, for sidebars. So, okay. What court docs were you asking about, Flash? Then that makes more sense. Then okay. That's fucking funny.
March 7th.
Well,
from OPDS.
You're the one pressing for your speedy trial, so you kind of have to make a decision on. We're set for trial. You want to go to trial, or you want to have him do that work that you want? Because I don't think both are going to happen. Even if you got the laptops today, generally those types of things can take weeks, even months to.
This is crazy because Lori seems to not know this, right? This blows my mind. How did no one tell her? And apparently this was her investigator's idea, the dude sitting here. This is insane. Multiple cell phones and multiple laptops to do full extractions. Like, are you, what?
analyze and prepare a report on.
I understand that. And I also understand that I've only been given 10 hours for him from OPDS, right? So if he could spend 10 hours this week getting them ready, then he can give us a report with the best that he can do.
Well, the report's already late technically, but if it were allowed, first of all, it's going to take time to coordinate him getting let's start here. Specifically, what are you requesting? Because the state wasn't clear whether you were requesting items here impounded by a particular police department or items that may be impounded in Idaho.
Well, I'm sure that my investigator would like to have all of those things done. And I realize that we're on a time constraint, and I would be only concerned with one item, which is at Chandler Police Department, which was Charles, my husband's phone, Charles Vallow's phone.
That's correct.
And I would like a copy of the extraction that they took from it. The digital forensic extraction from Chandler Police could be given to him immediately. That would be
Right. She doesn't
very helpful.
play.
Wasn't that already disclosed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that part of the initial terabyte?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Everything that I have is on a 22 terabyte. So if
Hard
hard drive. So if I give that away, I can't.
So I have a lot of thoughts here. So first of all, this investigator suggested it. Now, why he didn't suggest it earlier, before Lori went pro se, or just earlier, even when she was, just earlier than now, is beyond me. And I agree with the whole things of like, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. When I heard this snippet today, I was like, wait, could she use this to ask for, a continuance, right? And this is also correct. She doesn't know what to do. And this is also correct. She says she doesn't want a delay. And I'm just like, oh my God, right? Because if she had actual defense counsel, this would probably be handled differently. Because basically, yeah, you guys will hear. Let's keep listening.
My work.
Well, can't you make copies of files out of it?
22 terabytes.
I understand that.
Okay.
So what's your proposal?
I'll take it up.
I mean,
Now,
if you have
I agree.
all that information in a file,
Yes.
I'm not saying you have to copy the whole 22 terabytes, but
Yes, Flash.
there's a file in there somewhere that's
Correct.
the Cellbrite extraction
Yes,
already for that
thank you.
requested item that's been in defense possession for however long now.
I'll take it up tomorrow.
So I'm happy to make an order, but
It's not
again,
even paralegal. It's
if he's not done with that information you want, are you still wanting to proceed to trial
Hi,
at the
Tonka.
end of this month?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Right there. Right there.
Um,
So yes, I agree with what Flash said. Again, this would have been probably handled differently were she not representing herself, because this is one of those decisions where she's having to choose. And when it goes right on ahead and says, I still want to go anyway. All right.
I'll take it up tomorrow.
so I'm happy to make an order, but
Correct.
again,
Stand by counsel. Yeah.
if he's not done with that information you want, are you still wanting to proceed to trial at the end of this month?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there you go. Now that's done. Too late now. I mean, you can see the standby counsel just rolled her chair back and is talking to somebody. I mean, this is why you don't represent yourself, people, right here. One of many examples of why not.
Your Honor, I would ask leave that depending on what Mr. Dorkin says,
Well,
would put
it could
this-
still be precluded because depending on what his opinion is, first of all, it's late under the rules of evidence and rules of disclosure. And
And
secondly,
like I said, why didn't they do this earlier? This is insanity.
depending on what he says, the state would have to have an opportunity to consult with an expert as well.
Oh my God.
So even if he got something done, it could still be precluded, but I'll give him the opportunity to do whatever it is that you think he needs to do to analyze that. But that information's been in defense possession for months, if not over a year.
There
more
you
than a year,
go.
Your Honor.
Right
And he
there.
was just approved by OPDS last week, Your Honor.
I thought you said he was approved. You applied in January.
I applied for him in January and last Friday, he got approved.
Okay. So here's what it is. So the investigators weren't asking for this stuff, right? So I don't know why. Does anyone remember when she became pro se? So here's the thing. So that they had access to all these devices for over a year, whatever they just said. Obviously, this is this investigator's idea. This shit needs to be done. I don't disagree that they need to do their own celebrate, right? I don't disagree with that. So like I was saying, well, why didn't they ask sooner? Well, he just got approved last Friday or whatever, according to Lori. So, but she applied in January. So part of the question I have is why didn't she apply earlier? And like, in other words, I don't remember again when I'm sure someone in the chat will know when she became pro se, because it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but basically her defense counsel should have got an investigator sooner. I mean, goes without saying. Like, I just don't understand what is going on and why nothing's happening until now. She became pro se in December. Well, that's the answer. She became pro se in December and then didn't ask for an investigator until January. And I would imagine, so if she fired her first set of attorneys, so the investigator, whatever investigator would have been working with them, would have been conflicted out. So then that would be there. So in other words, there may have been an investigator with that team that was going to be doing these things in a timely fashion, but then that all went to shit. And she didn't apply for an investigator herself until January, and he just got approved. Oh, was she still in Rule 11? December 3 months ago, yes. Yeah, again, so her former, because the point being, right, her former defense team could have gotten certain things started. But when it comes to these investigators, typically they get conflicted out if they are with a certain set of attorneys. And obviously she had to get a new one. Wait, who's baking who a cake? Is this something else? Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, that's not. Okay, never mind. That's not about this. Okay. Twiz lived in Arizona. Yeah. Oh, wait, Twiz lived in Arizona for a time. Northwest grew up in Arizona. That is funny. That is funny. Okay, thank you. Flash is updating us here. She didn't get out of Rule 11 until January. Okay. That's true. According to Twiz, 22 seconds is a long time. Thank you, Heather.
Again, this is one of those things where you have to weigh your options on whether it's worth it to get a continuance so you can have your defense.
She should have
the work that you want done.
She should have waived speedy at this juncture. I mean, if okay, let me just clarify. Representing herself without defense counsel who could maybe have navigated this better for her, maintaining her right to speedy trial and having this stuff done in a timely fashion. Where she's at now with this, representing herself, if that's still the case and that's what she's doing, she should have waived speedy because this is dumb. And I mean, why do I even bother? It's like there's no use,
On your
right?
defense.
Like Twiz does, she should have just pled guilty.
But if you're telling me you don't want to do that,
I would like to do that, but my situation in my housing department precludes me from doing that.
from asking for a continuance?
No, from getting things done in an effective and quick manner.
Okay. All right. Well, so you're telling me you don't want a continuance?
No, absolutely. She could get, but she doesn't know how to make that argument. An actual defense attorney would have done that for her. That's what I'm saying, right? That she could have gotten a continuance without waiving. But she's not doing that. Instead, she's like, nope, I'm just going to maintain it. And since she doesn't know how to ask for a continuance without waiving, and the way that he's asking her is like, do you want to waive your speedy trial? She would be better off in her situation with what she's able to do. I think probably waiving it so that she can then get the shit done.
Any information he has at this point could be precluded as being untimely.
I understand that is the rule, and I understand how unfair and prejudicial that would be to me.
Okay.
And yeah, wait, what is this? I feel like I'm in an alternate reality. Listen to this.
All right. Well, so you're telling me you don't want a continuance because any information he has at this point could be precluded as being untimely.
I understand that is the rule, and I understand how unfair and prejudicial that would be to me.
Okay.
So that was almost like him asking, I almost wonder if that was him throwing her a bone, because he said, the way he said it there was, you don't want a continuance. I wonder if he was trying to help her out, like as in that would be a continuance, but maybe not waiving speedy, because in other words, it's getting on the record she doesn't want a continuance, right? Which is because you can have that without waiving speedy, as Northwest was pointing out there. So, but she's still saying, and this is what's so crazy, right? This is why you should never do this, because she's like, yeah, she's even acknowledging, I understand that's unfair and prejudicial, but I don't want to continue. It's like, what, dude? Right? Yeah. Yep.
So I guess I'm gonna have to cross the bridge on whether these notice defense witnesses are even able to be located and interviewed before I make a decision on whether they have relevant information that can be called at trial.
Yeah, I think that was
Obviously,
him
Honor, we have
out with that.
a little over a week to try to interview these people. So I will
understand.
file something at the end of next week indicating who I've been able to reach and interview and ask to preclude everyone else.
She fucked
All right.
herself on that one right there. She fucked herself on that one right there because she's like, yeah, I understand how prejudicial, but I don't want to continue. It's like, you've got to be kidding me, dude.
They also obviously ask to preclude them regardless,
Right.
based upon what they may say.
Right? And the freaking standby counsel didn't even say anything to her, didn't tap her on the knee and say, hang on, let's have a chat. She didn't say anything.
Right.
It's crazy.
What else do we need to address today then?
Honor, the only other motion
I
that
like
we
the
did not
judge
address
also.
last week was the state 609 motion.
I
I
like-
presume the defendant will likely testify, so I don't know if we wanted to address that now.
Are you prepared to address that now?
No.
I generally will, I guess I'll advise the defendant now that if you choose to testify, it's likely that the jury would hear about the convictions. But
Yes, we've only
at your
told-
request, they could be sanitized, meaning
You're joking.
that they would only hear about the fact that you have convictions as opposed to what the nature of the conviction are, but that would be up to you whether you want that information out or not. And then the jury would receive a limiting instruction that the existence of those convictions is only to be used for the purposes of determining credibility. So you should be aware of that when you make a decision on whether you want to testify or not. Oh, if you do want to testify, it will be question and answer, meaning you need to write out all your questions that
I'm just laughing because Twiz is classic Twiz. Twiz, you were here when we talked about, remember we watched all the Charles body cam? The next trial is the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux, which we've talked about, but I thank you, Northwest. Yeah. And that's an estimate, I believe, based on how long they thought this trial will go. But also there was talks about the judge, and then maybe it gets discussed. We're not to the end of this yet, but there was concern that this judge wouldn't be able to stay on the case. So, we love you, Twiz. We love you. It is just classic George Olstick. For anyone who's not familiar, this is just, it's kind of an inside joke or a meme, if you will, now of George. Oh my God, of Twiz asking questions that it's like, who are we looking at here? I mean, even earlier, right? We had the who's Nate Eaton, which we're going to see Nate Eaton here in just a few minutes. So that now, then you won't hopefully. No, just kidding. I'm sure that next time it'll still be who's Nate Eaton. We love Twiz.
you want to be asked
Yeah.
and have one of your advisory counsels ask those questions to you when you're on the witness stand.
Right.
Okay, so you can't take the witness stand and just give a narrative. It'll be question and answer.
So am I supposed to reply to the 609? Is that what you're saying? And ask
well-
for it to be sanitized if I want that?
We can talk about that when we actually have a 609 hearing, but
You never pay for YouTube.
yeah, you can make that request orally. You don't have to do a written response. I indicated last time for your opening statement and closing argument and questioning witnesses that you'll pretty much be limited to the podium.
Mhm.
We'll be in a different
Okay.
courtroom apparently for trial, but it'll be set up very similarly. Either your investigator
Here
or
we go.
one of your advisory counsels will approach witnesses with exhibits if you
Here we
have to
go.
show a witness an exhibit. So I'll have to do the same limitations on the state. The state would be confined pretty much to the area of the podium, and the state would have someone assist in approaching witnesses with exhibits.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So that it looks like it's the same for both sides, so that the jury doesn't think, how come she can't walk over there and the state can? That's a really good decision. Well done, Judge. I
So
like
that sort of
him.
thing.
I like him a lot. This is why I hope he gets to stay on the case for Brandon Boudreaux.
All right.
I have some motions that I'd like to file. I've had a really hard time getting my
copies
paralegals
for the
very
state?
busy. I don't have copies.
All right. We'll make copies and give them to the state, and then we'll file them, and depending on what they
I
are,
still want to know how she got her little off the shoulder look with her matching sports bra.
I'll rule on them as the response and replies come in, or we may have to address them
Oh, we all are cute.
depending on what they are. So plan on that questionnaire going out. I think we said
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we said next Thursday, the 20th, will be sent out to potential jurors for the first batch of jurors, and then the responses would be cut off on the 26th.
Judges going to be sent out Monday the 24th and will end on Monday the 27th.
All right. And then I'll meet with the parties on the 31st to go over those remote responses. So that'll be the 31st at 10:30 a.m.
Oh, that was
Then again, I'll just reiterate on April 1. Are we having we're not having walk-ins, Izzy, until the 1st?
Yeah, she's gonna have to have a big shirt.
Okay. And then on the 1st, we will meet again. And for the rest of that week, we'll likely be meeting at 10:30 and continuing with jury selection every day until we get enough jurors. Hopefully we get enough the first week. If we have to, we'll go into the second week.
Me too, Rochelle. There you can see her black wedding ring. We talked about this before too, because her malachite one was green. And she's got a black, like I think it's a placeholder wedding ring.
Need to be dark on. I'm going to put out there, since I obviously don't know when we will get the jury picked. I do have some witnesses that are flying in, so I may have some days where I may need to end a little early or whatnot to try to accommodate some witness schedules. But I'll keep the court updated once we get a jury picked.
I think we'll have a good idea by about day 2 of jury selection, whether we're going to need to go into the next week or not. That reminds me though, is I would like the parties to plan on, we're going to have a much better idea after about the second week of trial and the first trial, how the second trial will unfold as far as how many jurors we might need. But I would like the parties to plan on doing another remote questionnaire with a much larger pool for the second trial.
It's so small though.
And meeting on Friday, May 30th.
I will say, as far as the ring goes, because this is the thing we've been talking about with the ring. At the last hearing, she had her hair up in that crazy, what is it? The troll, but what was the other one? I know one of you guys will remember, right? It was like one of the troll dolls, but there was another thing she looks like. But anyway, she had her hair in that do and had the same black ring on her finger because we commented on it. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe when because, they're going to take, it makes sense that they'll take your wedding ring because it's valuable and people could kill you for it. And so maybe if you want, they can give you a placeholder with something that's worthless. So I don't know if it's a hair tie because it looks like it's too small though. Shih Tzu. That's not what it was, but yes, it was something else. There was another. So that's it. That's spot on. Thank you, Northwest. Yes. So that makes it 3 things: troll doll, Shih Tzu. But I think there was a third different thing. If no one remembers, I can always go back and find it. It's probably time stamped.
Giving you a heads up as far as this is concerned. And then for scheduling purposes, so everyone knows, I'm planning on probably going Monday through Friday of the week of June 2nd, as well as Monday through Friday.
I'm wondering, I'm like, did she watch our stream? And then she was like, I don't want to get made fun of for my hair. And now she has her hair because she's been wearing it like that first, the updo way, the Shih Tzu way. That's been her go-to look, but now it's not.
June 9th to try to get as much done as we can.
You guys are so
and then there's going to
funny.
be some dark days there toward the end of June.
And the way, P. Fox aptly pointed out the irony of the number of times they say dark is just insane, right?
But we need to get it done by July 4th.
Wow.
Your Honor, when are you planning on starting that trial?
I figured it.
So
I was being
jury selection would be the starting May 30th.
I was being facetious. I'm sure. Why? There's no way she would watch this. By the way, we have a Chad.
All right. Anything else from the state for today? If you want to stick around, we'll get you copies of those motions.
I do. Your Honor, I guess the only other thing is for the questionnaire, are we going to put in the defendant's 15.2 witness list?
I'll put in those names preliminarily.
That
It
was
doesn't
it.
hurt.
Michelle,
Just
thank you. Okay, so we need to make sure we're all clear. That was the other thing. Thank you, Rochelle. Pebble. So it's the troll doll, Pebble from Flintstones, and a Shih Tzu. That's it right there. Excellent.
in case anyone is called from that list, and if anyone knows any of those people, I will put that in actually. Anything else from the defense?
So I'm unclear on where we stand with the video that I requested.
The state says they don't know what video you're talking about. They've disclosed everything they have. So I'm going to make an order to your prior team to give you whatever that is. If you have a link in that information, you can forward it to the state so the state can see if that's something they've already disclosed or if that's something Gilbert didn't give them, or on the other hand, since it was told you secondhand or showed you secondhand, whether it's something different than what you thought it was. I don't know. So I'll make an order that they hand over all those things to you, so maybe you can figure that out. But at this point, the state says they've disclosed everything that they have and everything that they're aware of.
And in that order, they'll give it to my advisory council or
Who do you
who?
want me to, I was gonna say give it to your advisory council. Do you want a more narrowed order? Maybe any mitigation work that was collected, or do you want a broad order that's basically everything in their possession?
Well, it would be nice if they could turn over everything in their possession that we worked
I
on.
was just thinking
together.
it would be easier for you maybe to find that needle in a haystack if it was a more narrow order.
Well, she knows what the link is and she could just give it to us, and we asked for her to do that. And
What's that?
the attorney said, no, she can't do that. She can't give you anything.
What's that mitigator's name?
My mitigator's name? Pamela.
On your prior, do
Pamela Kearney.
you know how do you spell Kearney?
Cerny.
All right, I'll make a specific reference to that.
Flash was asking about troll dolls. Let's just take a look. There we go. That's Lori's troll doll. On a quick cursory look, there might be one that looks even more like her, but there's a cursory look there of what I was able to find matching her spirit troll doll, as it were.
And do we need an order, Your Honor, to pick up my husband's phone at Chandler Police so that Lonnie can do the extraction?
Well, you already have that extraction in your discovery. What's the state's position on Lonnie Dworkin meeting someone at
Not
Chandler,
enough.
right? Chandler
Yes, at
Police
Chandler
Department to
Police
do
Department.
another extraction?
Your Honor,
Okay, so I'm going to come back to the hair thing. What were you referencing here? Overhead footage of what? Because if it was something that they were saying in the hearing, I might have missed it because I was looking for the troll doll. No, I knew what troll dolls were. The look on that woman's face. You mean the standby counsel? Okay, so now let me go back to this. So for anyone who doesn't know, I learned how to do my own blonding during COVID, and I can actually speak to what it entails and for the type of highlights that Lori has. So lemon juice, first of all, would not get you that much. But the second thing is this, is that you could really tell when she had it half up, you could actually see where if someone's not done a good job with their highlights, there would be what they call like a harsh line. And when her hair was half up, you could see how the highlights were done. Like if you get it done by a professional, or if you learn how to do it like the way that I do it, like there's a lot that goes into making it so that it looks like natural highlights versus where it's blended versus like a big chunk. And normally where you will see that is especially if it's like half up or something like that. And so basically in order for her to have, and remember, she has hair trained. She was a hairdresser at some point, right? So she would maybe, I don't even know, because if she would have gone that far in depth into blonding, but even if she knew how to do it, the tools she would need to achieve the type of highlights that she has, even if she had, let's just say in a hypothetical alternate reality, she actually had access to like hair bleach, proper hair bleach. In order to do what she has in her hair that are obviously freshly done, because you can tell, she would need other things. She would need a way to comb her hair and weave out certain sections. And she would need something akin to foil, like aluminum foil, to put the hair in. That's like just for starters, like the tools she would need, even if she has the knowledge and ability, she would need and she would need more than one mirror in order to be able to see the back of her head. There's a lot. So it's very crazy to me. That's why I was like, it's a big deal that like, it would be easier actually if someone was in prison and they were just, or in jail and they were just going to try to make their hair like all the same color of blonde, where they bleach the entire thing. That would actually be way easier to do, because then you just need the bleach or something that can bleach hair, but you don't need any other tools. But to do what she has is really, I'm really surprised, and I want to know her secret.
obviously the state and defense have always had stipulations so that should something happen to the device while it's in the possession of Mr. Dworkin, that there are now no issues with chain of custody or anything else. So the state would have to draw up a release, have that scheduled on who it's going to be picking it up, have the defendant sign that release indicating that she understands that should anything happen to that she waives those rights to claim those things. So
I think what I was asking was, does Mr. Dworkin have the ability to just do the extraction on site?
On site where? At Chandler?
At Chandler.
I don't think the police departments allow anyone to go in there and conduct their work in the police department.
Okay. All right, so to maintain the chain of custody, the state can draw up an agreement, and if the defendant signs that agreement, then Mr. Dworkin could pick up that phone.
That's perfect. Logistically, how's that going to happen?
She's gonna forward that to your investigator, and I guess he'll have to come down and have you sign it.
Okay, so now I will just say, so hair dye is different than bleach. You can imagine why they probably wouldn't sell bleach in the commissary, right? Especially hair, like any type of bleach, for probably obvious reasons. Now, I will say, the way your head is right now, that doesn't look as good. The back part looks better, and it does almost make me wonder if maybe she wasn't able to do the back, and actually that's why the back looks better, and the part that she could do looks worse. You see that the chunks there? See what I'm saying? Perfect example where you can see her head right now. I don't think she did that on purpose. That could be from not having the tools I was just referencing. But yeah, but hair dye it won't blonde your, in order to go lighter in color, it's just bleach. It's not dye. Which the way bleach is done for hair is there's a powder and then there's a developer. The powder is the bleach itself, right? That's the actual bleach. And then the developer is like hydrogen peroxide, but it's a hair developer. You mix it together with the powder, and that's how you get the lightener that they use. But apparently, and I don't know if this is just according to Lori. You guys, someone might know. Apparently, she had worked as a hairdresser. Now, who knows if that's true or if that was just from her mouth, but that was what was known from somewhere. And so, now, I guess the question would be, could she have gone to the cosmetology trade school if they have one and gotten supplies from there? I'm sure the answer to that is no. Now, could she have enrolled in the cosmetology school because equal opportunity, right? Even if she already has the training, and then that way she gains access to the materials. I think that could be a possibility. I think she is a natural blonde, but she's not. She's like naturally, like, I don't know. She's probably naturally like a level 8, somewhere in there. And then some of those highlights are more like a level 10. She was a trained. Okay, Northwest is confirming. She was a trained hairdresser. She said, y'all are right. According to her, you guys are so funny. It's totally natural. You guys are hilarious. I think we're kind of at the end here.
All right. Be at recess.
All right, they're in recess. Okay, next up, especially for you, Twiz, we're gonna take a look at Nate Eaton here, and here we go. And so now we will all see what he has to say about being called as a witness for Lori's trial.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm Nate Eaton. This is Courtroom Insider. I had not really planned to do an insider.
Sorry, Northwest, you're killing. Not enrolled, but they need victims.
Here tonight. Well, I'm dying. Well, maybe I'll do one. I don't think that there'll be much that comes out of the hearing today. Boy,
okay, Mexican level dark brown. So dark brown, that might be like a level 5 or 4 with caramel highlight. That's probably like a level 7 or 8. But I bet your hair looks. I can see in your picture, your hair looks gorgeous. If that's what your hair currently looks like. If it's not, I'm sure it still looks gorgeous. But yes, you are gorgeous in your picture, and your hair is very gorgeous as well. Twiz, shut up. You don't even know. George will stick.
Was I wrong? I thought it might be a 5 or 10 minute hearing. It was about 40. And I am obviously not in Arizona. I'm in Idaho Falls. I had a bunch of other things to do today. So I actually was not monitoring the hearing live. I was in an interview with one of our senators. And all of a sudden my phone started to blow up like, Lori Vallow just mentioned you in court. And I thought, oh no. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other news that came out of the hearing today. This trial, jury selection begins in a week and a half, like less than 2 weeks from now. And we will be in Arizona ready to go. And what I thought might be a short one.
I think the camera is way up closer to his face than it usually is, which could explain the head looking so big, the forehead looking so big, and maybe even him look skinnier. Because I agree. I think it's closer. I think the camera's maybe he scooted his chair in. I don't know. But I mean, yeah.
2-week trial. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. It's going to be that way. But anyway, let me know where you're watching from, and let me know if you have questions in the next, once we start doing this every night during the trial, Courtroom Insider every night during the trial, we're going to bring back questions every night, shout outs that we did before, and hopefully make it so that those of you who can't come to the courtroom every day can really feel like you're part of it. And that's my whole goal. This all started, when we didn't have cameras in the courtroom and there was very limited seating. And so every night I try to give you the eyewitness perspective from being in there. And that's what we will continue to do. I'm just looking at the camera. I think I got my haircut way too short. I just got to tell you that, normally I go a little bit longer, but it's short. That's okay. That's okay. All right, let's jump right into the hearing today. This is a pretrial hearing. Normally this is one of those hearings where the defense, the prosecution goes over, judge, we're ready for trial. It's kind of a housekeeping thing.
Okay, so we know all this, right? We know this was not normal. She seemed irritated. Yes, she did seem irritated. You'll be held in another court. So we're getting to the part about him. He's talking about the jury survey things. We just watched this. So we're going to get to the part. Let's see.
People. The prosecutor, by the way, Lori said she had no issue with JJ or Tylee being mentioned. She said that she has no issue with them being mentioned. The judge then asked the prosecution, do you really think you will need until May 15th for the trial? Prosecutors are planning to call 21 witnesses. Now that list has not been made public as of yet, as of right now. Maybe it will be. In Idaho, it wasn't. 21 witnesses, and the state said, yeah, we really want to plan April 7th, opening statements through May 15th. Now it's possible it ends early. It's also possible the jury selection takes longer than the first week of April.
And I
said they have planned now.
I said
right now, opening statements are planned for April 7th.
I said this as much. I said it's a tentative date.
But it's possible that could get pushed off, and we could still be trying to get a jury in week 2. I don't really know the feel in Arizona. If there are, I would imagine they could get the jurors. It's much harder in Idaho. It's far fewer people, and obviously big story. In Arizona, there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot of people that don't, watch the news that don't have any idea. But we'll see. Okay, then Lori, you remember last week at the hearing, Lori brought up this video of police questioning Gilbert police people.
That was
again. We know
that they.
if.
Oh my God. I just want to hear his reaction to being called as a witness.
Did not go through.
Addresses. I know that we were trying to get the
An
addresses.
investigator can't work email correctly. There's that whole thing. Okay, he plays a good clip of the hearing, which would be great, but we just watched it. So
many of you have messaged me today.
Okay, here we go.
Tagged me on Twitter asking about me being a witness. And I talked a little bit about this last week, where I said I have not been served a subpoena, and that is true to this day. I don't have a subpoena. I also have not been contacted by the defense team or investigator.
Really? I didn't know.
But it's also possible that I could walk into the courtroom, I would think, and Lori Vallow could say, Nate Eaton is a witness, my witness. He can't be in here because there's an exclusionary rule for witnesses. They don't allow witnesses in the courtroom because you could hear stuff that could taint your testimony.
Oh, I see exactly what he's saying. So you guys remember when we were covering Karen Reed in the Commonwealth, or the Commonwealth listed Turtle Boy as a witness? You guys, that is a terrible pause, Nate. I'm sorry.
That's
better. And you guys remember what I said? I said, this is just a tactic so that he can't come to the trial. That's what I said, because then there's a witness exclusionary rule. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me that would be what Lori is doing with Nate Eaton. Maybe because it doesn't seem like she would know enough to do that, but that is what he is saying. Because if she puts him on the witness list, then he can't come as a journalist and be in the courtroom, and technically he really can't even be watching the trial or reporting on it. That's what he's saying. I wonder if that was advice from her standby counsel.
Solely rely on your experience and what you've, you can't be influenced by outside people, by the media. You can't watch documentaries. You can't watch shows. And so Lori Vallow maybe that's one of the reasons she wants to call me as a witness. I have sent her a message in jail asking why she wants to call me as a witness, and I have not received a response. So Trina K Trina K did mention there in the hearing that she plans to file a motion to preclude. She specifically mentioned me. I'm a reporter. Why am I on the witness list? Full disclosure, I did speak with Ms. K this afternoon. It was an off the record conversation, And she plans to file that motion once she's spoken with all the witnesses on Lori's list. And if she can't reach some of them, then they won't be called, as the judge said. So we also at East Idaho News have sought legal counsel. It's I don't want to say tricky, but because it's Arizona and I'm in Idaho, we have to work with an Arizona attorney, or at least work with an Idaho attorney who can then find somebody in Arizona. So we've been in touch with the Arizona Press Club as well. I fully plan to cover this trial. I fully plan to be in the courtroom every day. I fully plan to not take the witness stand. And I will talk a little bit more once things get settled with this issue. I'll talk a little bit more freely about it. And also in a minute, so one of you sent me a really good question that I want to answer about it. So that's my thoughts. Still going to report on this. Still going to be in Arizona. And if I get there and have to sit outside the courtroom, I'm going to be pretty angry. But I don't have to. Reporters should not be brought into these type of cases for simply doing.
She actually testified though. But I know what you mean there, just Northwest. But yeah, she testified for the state. I guess you're saying Chad had her on his list. And it is interesting that Justin Lum isn't on the list. I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are about that. I have to wonder if it's because she views Nate as a bigger threat, and that would make sense, right? Because Idaho. And while Justin Lum has been a really big, the other really big journalist on this case, I don't know. I feel like Nate is even more involved, and maybe that's because really Idaho seemed to be, Arizona obviously we're seeing is involved, right? But like, it was an Idaho case to start with, and both her and Chad were tried in Idaho first, right? So, by the way, it is normal the way it usually goes there, Rochelle, is it is normal for in most, again, it's going to vary by like the court and the jurisdiction, but it is normal for each side to have one designated whoever it is, designated person that gets to stay through, and sometimes they might even allow more than one. Like in Florida, well, at least in the Casey Anthony trial, I think they have 2 people that are allowed to stay through, I believe. But then whatever it is for one side, it'd have to be the same for the other. So that's not unusual to make an exception for the witness exclusionary rule for, like, usually it'll be like the lead detective or lead investigator or something like that. Yeah, and I just wonder if she fears Nate more because Idaho, right? Like, I think she feels less connected to Arizona than she does to Idaho as it pertains to this case. And like we were just saying, right? In Idaho, this case is way bigger than it is in Arizona, right?
Okay. Our jobs. Okay, witnesses. Then let's talk about the phone extractions. Do you remember in the other trials in Idaho how long it took for them to get the cell phone data and explain it all and do phone extractions and laptop extractions, basically download all the data, sift through it, go through it, all that? Well, Lori has an expert that she wants to do that, who has not started on it. And the trial is in 2 weeks. And the deadline to file your evidence and what your expert finds is passed. So also, once your expert files those things, what they found, the prosecution has the right to respond. That was all discussed here.
Mr. Dworkin, if you want him to do extraction.
So we just watched all this. So yeah, let's do this real quick. So we do have a Chad command, but we can totally set one up for Lori. So what emojis should we have for Lori? Or what should it say? Hi, Happy Annie, welcome. So I thought that he was talking to her when she landed in Idaho from Hawaii. But I suppose it could be that he went to Hawaii and was there when she was boarding the plane. I remember, I can picture it right now, the footage of him talking to her from the tarmac. And I thought it was when they landed. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure someone else in the chat will probably know, but we can always go look for it. And if no one remembers, we can always go look for it and take a look and see exactly where it was, if it was in Hawaii or if it was in Idaho. But She landed from another planet. Accurate. Okay, it was the tarmac in Hawaii. Okay. There you go. So thank you for that clarification. So it was the tarmac. So he did go to Hawaii. I think Twiz was saying that as a joke. I mean, I don't even think. I know Twiz was saying that as a joke. But anyway, you remember him on the tarmac too, right? Okay. So so grabbed him by the storm. We can do that. What if her investigator is watching right now and hears you say she should continue without waiving speedy? Well, I think it's too late, and I'm guarantee you her investigator's not watching. Her investigator doesn't seem to have how's a nice way to say it? I'll let you guys think of something. What do you guys think of the investigator? Portal to grab. See, and I was literally thinking we need portal in there. Portal to grab the storm. Yeah, I like that. I like the portal to grab the storm. Well, but it's got to be her quote. So it's got to be like portaling to grab the storm, like that, because she's doing it. That is so funny because you said you guys have each other's backs. It's so cute. So ABC's is out for now. Okay, we'll see you next time. Oh, loin fire. That's another good one. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, loin fire, that was like a Chad story, right? Like, I'm God, if it was forever ago that I learned about loin fire. Yeah, it was a Chad book or a Chad story about James and Elena, I believe, right? They're like alter egos. Oh my God, the loin fire of it all. Ooh, Twiz. Grabbed him by the storm, felt the thunder, heard the lightning flash through the portal. That's clever. I love all these suggestions. Grabbing the storm opens the portal. Wow. James is getting ready for South Carolina. Excellent. I think this might have to be the winner though, especially because even flashing through flash like that, there's lightning again there. That's brilliant. Twiz erotica. I'm dying with the Twiz erotica. I'm dying. Can that be a thing? Twiz, that's your new career. That's your new career. That's your new career. Oh my God. I'm dying. I think that's going to have to be the saying. And, we need the emojis. So let me do this. Let me pull up another window and go ahead and get Nightbot to start working on this masterpiece. And then speaking of portal, you guys will be transferred over to our next live stream. So I'm leaving that on the screen, and then we're gonna see Twiz. Yeah, Northwest agrees. Twiz wins. We need the emojis. So anyone want to chime in on the emojis? And as I start to set this up, yeah, that's the best. That combines all of the great ideas in one, I would say. So you win 1,000,000 squirrel points on that one, Twiz. See, this is what I'm saying. Twiz makes up for his not knowing who anybody is or what anything is, or with this brilliant moments like this. So this will be Lori's command. Okay. I'll get the grabbed him by, I can't type, grabbed him by the storm, felt the thunder. Oh God, how gross is that though? Ew. Heard the lightning though. Shouldn't it be saw the lightning? Shouldn't it be saw the lightning? Yeah, the hole is the portal. That's a good one. Thank you, Northwest. Twiz finally knows who George is. Okay, saw the lightning. I think Twiz got that out fast because it was that brilliant. Like when you have a moment of brilliance, you know what I mean? Okay, saw the lightning. There we go. Okay, flashed through. That's brilliant. The connection between the lightning and the flashes. I don't even know if you did it on purpose, Twiz, but that's brilliant. Flashed through the portal. Also, I also love that it gives a subtle shout out to Flash fan. Okay, so let's get these emojis. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I love this. Okay, so we're gonna do the hole for the portal. We're going to definitely have lightning and all the storm. Lightning. Tornado. Shout out to my brother. I think also some lipstick would be good for her, you know, like, is there a lipstick emoji? What else? Hair scissors, like salon shit. Let me see here. Oh, there's a comb. Perfect. We can do the comb. We can do the scissors. I've got a bunch of emojis already here. This is awesome. Gotta have the proper emojis. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Do you guys have any other ideas for emojis? Haircut. Okay, we'll do the haircut. Should it be a dude getting a haircut or her? I guess it should be her because now it's like we're thinking she's probably doing her own fucking hair. Can I make it a lady? Make it a lady. Okay, we got that. I guess I should do a brush and maybe not a comb. Let me see if that's an option. Oh, it's a toothbrush. Well, that's not the one. Is there a show your shoulder emoji? No, but there should be. A raccoon. Yeah, we can do the raccoon. Twiz wants to know for Northwest Falls, Idaho. Totally a Peter Griffin thing for chat. Yeah. Twiz says, I like chat. Think I might go visit. Wait, what? What does that even mean? You like chat? Did you mean to say Chad? There's no stripper pole emoji yet, though, unfortunately. Cuffs and shackles. Oh, that's a good one. There's the closest thing. So there's a chain we can do. Northwest is giving me some more ideas. Okay, you did mean to say Chad. Okay. So, okay, let me get these other emojis on here because this is really important. Get this right. So there's a chain. Well, let me do. The lips. Oh, the bitey lip. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. You guys have to suggest things that exist though as emojis already. Like great ideas, but they're not all, they don't have them as emojis yet though. That's the problem. Okay, let's see what you guys think about this one. Okay, let me this way you guys can see what you think. Let me show you what I got so far. All right. If anyone wants to do exclamation point Lori in the chat, and you guys can see what I got. Ew. Oh, the dancing emoji. Okay. Yeah. You know, I really hope that they add another dancing emoji because I will tell you, there's so many times when I want to do a dancing emoji, I'm like, God, I hate that that's the only one, right? Because it's got a salsa vibe, and like the salsa vibe is very different than other dancing vibes. You know what I mean? Okay, so here's what we got so far. Thank you, Northwest. So yeah, to that end, the dancing, because you know the type of dancing she was doing is not salsa. That's the only thing. Oh, the zombie. Thank you. Zombie. Okay, let me edit it. We do need the zombie. Okay. Zombie. Okay, and there's a female one. That works out. It's in your head, in your head. I'm just singing while I update this. Zombie. Okay, let's try it again. Round 2. Zombie. Thank you, Northwest. Oh, right. The whole thing about her playing lawyer. Oh my God. Wow. She's got a lot. I will say, of all the people we've done, there's probably more emojis that apply to Lori than anybody, which is saying a lot because I'm realizing just how many categories. Like, wow. Should we also add lawyer shit on here? I mean, my God, it's already so prolific. Because like if we go this route, like there's other things. Like, well, see now we can't just stop at briefcase. Like there's gonna be other things. We could do this, yeah, the scales, like scales of justice, like I always put in my own little ones. Actually, I have an idea. This is actually going to be perfect, and this will represent all of it. Hold on, wait for this, guys. I have a great idea. Wait for this one. See what you guys think about this, particularly the placement of it. Okay, I've just updated it. If anyone wants to do Lori again, exclamation point Lori. There is not a gavel yet. There should be. There totally should be. I think it's only a matter of time, probably, before that exists. Lori is a woman of many talents. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Okay, we're gonna see what you guys think. Toss the kitchen sink in too, right? For every single emoji, because I have no limit, right, on my channel. Like that's fucking every single emoji. Okay, here we go. So I added the scales at the very end after the chains. So what do you guys think? So that represents her being her own lawyer, but also justice, right? You feel me, guys? What do you guys think? This is badass. It feels pretty complete to me. I mean, again, we could. I don't disagree with the throwing in the kitchen, but this is pretty complete. No, right, Alondra. Oh yeah, we do also have a derbil, although Meg's not here. She was here earlier, but I tried to achieve make a derbil. Derbil. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I almost feel like I want to, though. Hold on. Actually, hold on. I feel like on second thought, I want to add a couple emojis before the words. That way the long one is all on one line because that way it's not broken up. You see what I mean, guys? And usually this is not a concern because normally there's not this many. So let me add a couple things here enough to where, what do I need? I need two. I need two things and then it will, oh, door. I think I have that in Chad's. Although I feel like the door should go on the long string. You know, because it's a closet door, portaling, you know. What should we add at the beginning? Can I just add spaces? That's a good idea. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, I'm adding a couple spaces. Let's see how that works. I'm going to add the closet door. By the way, if you guys check out the thumbnail for these videos for Lori live streams, you guys will notice that behind Lori, there is wasn't easy to find. So I've got a closet door that is a portal. And if you guys knew how much time I spent to align it so that where she's positioned and where the portal is, there's like where if you look at the top of her head and her hair and the shape of her head, it's like the glowing part of the portal like matches it in exactly the right place. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I just updated it. Let's see how that works. Oh, it didn't do it. So I added the spaces, but it didn't do the spaces for as per the Nightbot. Okay, let's So we're going to just add emojis then. Okay. So we will add, I mean, there's more storm emojis than even what I already did. So I feel like that's appropriate there because of where it starts in the quote. Oh, I have another idea. I'm not going to tell you guys. It'll be a surprise. Okay. I have a good idea. See what you guys think. I like this. Let's see how this works. Okay. Someone wants to do Lori in the chat. Lori in the chat. That's a good one, but I think you'll like what I have. Because I'm thinking of things that will represent Chad specifically. Check it out. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So I did a storm and then a bell for Daybell because this is referencing Chad, right? That's to represent the Chad part of it all. So there you, and then now all these are all on the last line all together. I like it. Do you guys like it? Are you guys happy? I think it looks really good. It might be our best command yet with the emojis and everything. And also Twiz gets all the credit for the quote though. James loves it. Excellent. Let's just take a, dude, I love it. So I personally love it also. Heather also agrees. Wonderful. Yay. We got Northwest's approval. Excellent. And again, this is just brilliant. Grabbed him by the storm, felt the thunder, saw the lightning flash through the portal. Teamwork, guys. We did it. Twiz erotica. Oh my God, it's the best. It is the best. You guys are the best. This is probably one of my absolute all-time favorite commands though. I love it so much. It's just so good. I don't even want to take it down. Chat erotica. Oh my God. That could be a members only live stream idea. Oh my God. Wait. It's coming to me. That's what she said. This could be a members only live stream idea where we make we do our chat create like a group effort of, and Happy Annie also weighing in awesome of like what I'm losing. I'm so excited in my head. I'm losing my words. Where we do like a Squirrel Crew like group teamwork erotica based on all these cases. And it could be almost like shipping in a way. We've talked about that before. Shout out to Fender. Shout out to Kit Smits who taught me what that is. Where it's like, what if they're all, well, kind of also there could be an overlap to the real world true crime edition. So like they're all in the same place. Like they're all meeting each other. And like, in other words, or we could do it where it's one case at a time, or we could do it where they're like, involves multiple different cases and all the different people. But anyway, gross fanfic. Right. That's what I'm saying. It could be very scary. But I don't know. Y'all got me thinking about, the whole thing with the teamwork and the we would want to make it less on the scary side and more on the we'll rely on Twiz for that because since he's already ahead of the game here with this one. Some of us would be probably too either disgusted or afraid to be able to go there, but Twiz seems to be able to go there. Flash, did you see you've got a little what do you call it? A subtle nod there in the Lori. No, night. Northwest is going to bed. Good night. Thanks for being here. Happy to see you again. Hope to see you again soon. It is terrifying. And actually, it's a perfect timing because we're going to have it shuttle you guys on over into our next live stream. Glad you're belly laughing. Yes, my face hurts. And And James, thank you so much for doing the things. James put the Discord link in the chat as well as membership link in the chat. Thank you, James. James is like doing all the things. Love it. And also a nice shout out to Fender as well. We love Fender. And also just nothing new here with Flash wanting ice cream. Classic Flash. You guys, this was so much fun. Okay, let's go ahead and we are going to shuttle on over for the next one. Triple threat. Yep. So y'all are the best. We have the best command ever for Lori. Super excited about that. You'll only see it here, only channel with that command. I guarantee you guys that. And I'm going to go ahead and roll the outro. I'll see you guys. We were in Massachusetts, then we went to Arizona. Now we're going to head on over to South Carolina.